I beat parrot.
When a kind-hearted man helped 4 birds in need, he believed he'd simply done the right thing. But not long after, life gave him a moment so special, so unexpected, that it felt almost magical. Joseph Sikar lived on a quiet street in Triplicane, one of the oldest parts of Chennai, a coastal city in India. He worked as an electrician and in his free time enjoyed his hobby, photography and camera work. There wasn't anything particularly unusual about Joseph. He was just a regular guy, living a simple life. But then something truly out of the ordinary happened. One morning, Joseph got up early and made himself a pot of coffee, like he usually did. He liked having that first bit of caffeine before his day began. As he sipped from his mug, he opened the door to his terrace to let in some fresh morning air. That's when something caught his eye. In the corner of the terrace was a small patch of green. Joseph didn't keep much out there, just a chair and a small table, so the sudden pop of color stood out right away. Curious, he turned for a better look, and what he saw made his eyes widen. It wasn't just one green thing. It was 4 bright green parakeets perched together. These birds, known for their smarts and their love of warm weather, are a familiar sight in India. Joseph had seen plenty of them before, but never this close. And what puzzled him more, they didn't fly off when he moved closer. Joseph remembered seeing parakeets around now and then, usually darting in for a quick snack if he forgot a plate outside. But they always left quickly. They never stayed put like this. Why now? Why these birds? Something about it felt off. Not long before, the area had been hit hard by a typhoon. Joseph's home had been spared, but many weren't so lucky. Homes destroyed, lives lost. Even the animals had suffered. Looking at the birds, Joseph noticed their wings looked damaged. They seemed shaken and weak, clearly unable to fly. So he did what felt right. He went back inside to find them something to eat. He'd never owned birds before, so it's not like he had birdseed lying around. Instead, he brought them some plain rice. As he came closer, the parakeets chirped excitedly, almost like they were happy to see him. They gobbled up the rice quickly, clearly hungry and grateful. Over the next few days, the birds stayed on his terrace, eating the rice and sipping the water he left out. Slowly, they started to look better. Each day, their feathers seemed a bit smoother, their eyes a little brighter. It was clear the care was working, and they were getting stronger. Soon enough, they began trying to fly again. At first, they struggled, little flutters that didn't quite lift them off. But with each try, they got braver. Joseph would sit at the far end of the terrace and watch quietly, a soft smile on his face. He didn't say it out loud, but you could tell he was proud. Maybe they would have survived without him, but maybe not. One thing was certain, with Joseph's help, they had a real shot. Bit by bit, the parakeets returned to being their lively, active selves. But there was one big change. They weren't afraid of Joseph anymore. In fact, they seemed to welcome him. They flapped and glided across the terrace, sometimes soaring off into the sky for a short loop before returning. It felt like they had chosen this spot, and maybe even chosen him. Before long, Joseph's neighbors began to take notice. The little green birds had become a familiar sight, zipping around the terrace. People were surprised at how friendly the parakeets were, and they often told Joseph how lucky he was. "I think kindness is kindness, whether you show it to a person or an animal," one neighbor said. "There's a kind of quiet trust between Joseph and those birds, and it's something special. We need more people like him in the world." And honestly, they were right. Joseph had started to care deeply for the birds. He'd never had pets before, but these 4 had found a place in his daily life. He liked feeding them, checking in on them, and just watching them hop and fly around. But not everyone felt the same. Word had gotten to Joseph's landlord, and he wasn't happy. He told Joseph that he couldn't keep the birds around and gave him a choice: either send them away or move out of the property. Joseph tried to explain they were wild birds, not pets, and the terrace was open to nature. But it didn't matter. One morning, Joseph stepped outside with his coffee, and what he saw made his heart sink. All 4 parakeets were sitting quietly on the terrace fence. He stood still, just watching. Then, one by one, they spread their wings and flew off, this time toward the sea, not looking back. Joseph gave a quiet, bittersweet smile. He had done what he could. He'd helped when help was needed, and it had meant something, for those 4 little birds and for him too. Slowly, he turned and walked back inside, his thoughts lingering on the parakeets he had grown so fond of. Maybe his landlord would be satisfied now that they were gone. But Joseph had no idea what was about to happen next, something that would leave not just him, but all of Chennai in complete awe. It was the kind of thing you had to see to believe. A week or 2 passed, and life seemed to go back to normal. Then, one day, the parakeets came back. But they didn't return alone. At first, it was just a few extra birds. Then, more came, and more. Day by day, they kept arriving until Joseph's terrace looked like a green cloud of feathers. It seemed the original 4 had somehow let the others know this was a safe place, that this man could be trusted. Maybe it was their way of saying thank you. Whatever the reason, Joseph was deeply moved. His heart swelled each time new birds flew in and made themselves at home. After those first 4 left, 5 or 10 others would show up, Joseph recalled. That small group grew quickly. Within a year, hundreds were coming. These days, around 300 parakeets visit his terrace regularly, and during the rainy season, their numbers soar to over 6,000. During cyclones, even more appear, all seeking shelter. They hate the heat, Joseph explained. Their numbers go up in the rainy and winter seasons. My landlord still isn't happy, but honestly, I've stopped caring. Years have passed since that first quiet morning, but Joseph's terrace remains a safe haven. Whether the birds come for food, comfort, or just a place to rest, Joseph is always ready to welcome them. Sometimes he still finds himself amazed by it all. People stop in the street, pointing and taking in the incredible sight of thousands of bright green parakeets perched side by side. And all of it, every bit, started with just 4 small birds and one simple act of kindness. No wonder people started calling him the Birdman of Chennai. Now it's your turn. What did you think of this heartwarming story? Have you ever heard of something so unexpected and beautiful? Would you have helped the birds if you were in Joseph's place? We'd love to hear your thoughts, so don't forget to leave a comment, hit like, and subscribe for more amazing real-life stories just like this one.